Do I have game audio? It sure seems like I do. I was just a little bit concerned because the most recent thing I had plugged into my capture card was my PS5, and I didn't realize it until a moment ago when I went to start stream here. Is it this layout that I usually use here? I think it is. Anyway, I did the thing. Alright, enough stars have been gathered for the ceiling. Let's head for the volcanic island. I did it earlier today. And now, sure. Actually, no. I think that should be everything that I need. I really quickly, because I'm pretty sure it's the final level coming up that we kind of postponed to play some Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. Now I've collected enough stars. I think you can get whatever power-up you want while you're in Waddle Dee Town, right? But yeah, hello, Mortis, Volt, and Guzma. How's it going today? I need to go do this really quickly. I actually did. I ended up being up really late last night. The battle against the boss was certainly interesting. It was nowhere near as hard as Vulcan. Vulcan was definitely by far the hardest boss battle for me. That one was very challenging. The boss was challenging, but not unreasonably so. The boss was like, okay, this boss is hard, but not like unreasonably so. But I had to like actually stealth around, and she was wearing... It's a field of white flowers, and she was wearing an all-white suit, so she blends in kind of well, and I had to try to blend in. There's a little bit of a side mode, like optional challenge thing, so I will stream it again sometime next week when I'm back home from out of town. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be heading out of town, so I'd figure I just have a little bit of time to stream tonight. I don't want to be up too late here, considering I gotta be up early to drive out of town. My dad wants to go fishing with me tomorrow, because it's the last weekend that the boat is in the lake, because we're taking it out this weekend. And then the day after that, we're taking my dad's old truck to a car show. And then the day after that, I'm taking my old truck to a car show. So it's going to be busy here. I was thinking I might do this, and then I buy another one, is what I was kind of thinking here. That, or maybe this? Yeah, maybe I just buy this. I mean, I guess an extra life bar would grant me a little bit more, because an extra life bar grants me a full extra life bar, whereas this will just restore a full life bar based out of what I'm missing out of one life bar. So it's never going to be quite 100%, whereas it's going to be a 100% restoration on getting the other thing. And whatever. And hello, Mythic. Yeah, so you have to camouflage and super sneak around, and she charges you down and like takes you down, and then I get screwed because she like melee wombo combos me. So it was a little bit difficult. And the ending is rather bittersweet. The ending with there was pretty good. How do I go to the... It was just somewhere around here anyway, so maybe I can just fly there from... Yeah, it's just right over here anyway. Yeah, lots of truck stuff going on. It'll be interesting there. Careful, Harmonia, or PC might brick itself again. Don't even tempt fate. I switched my encoding settings to CPU instead of GPU, thinking that it was something weird with like GPU encoding. So I'm back to encoding with CPU again now. But when I was most recently streaming Bloodborne, the freeze happened again anyway. So it's nothing to do with my encoding settings. Unless the exact same issue crops up with the exact way that I've set up both CPU and GPU encoding, I guess. So like, I'm doing this stream with CPU encoding right now rather than GPU. Because that's what I had it set up for. But Metal Gear wasn't the biggest fan of it. The other day there, last night, there was some bits where we were dropping a little bit of, well, not stream frames, but like the game was dropping frames. So it wasn't the biggest fan. So I don't know what exactly is going on with my computer. I can't wait for my computer to hard freeze while I'm in the middle of this final boss here. I don't even know where I'd begin troubleshooting this, because now that I know it's not my encoding settings, I don't know where to begin. Why does my computer just randomly freeze while I stream? It's so weird. So I don't understand. Some gloop is grabbing up the starries. I forgot to switch my abilities while I was in there. I'm now realizing. I've still got the Star-Crossed World. I've still got the friggin' tornado thing. I want, like, the Space Blaster or something. Can I just, like... Don't mind me. After that whole cutscene of falling into a pit, I'm just gonna say no thank you, actually. Fallen Star Volcano. I forgot to change my power up there. Windows being Windows, honestly. That is probably what it is. I'm sure give it a little bit of time and then it won't crop up at all anymore. As tends to happen with my various Windows issues, like the Curse of HAL. Where's the Space Blaster? My memory tells me that that one was, like, my strongest go-to, if I remember correctly here. Yep, this please. Especially considering this is +1. as opposed to just not. I didn't know how to word that. So I mean, like, ever about the new Windows 11 update that is frying SSDs? No. What? Yeah, so last stream it didn't crash at least. But my computer wasn't very happy with me there. Latest Windows update bricks SSD. Why Windows? Yeah, during the last stream of this, I was complaining about Nintendo a decent bit and some of their practices. Let's complain about Microsoft and Windows a little bit, because, my God. How is it that, like, the best Windows ever was Windows 7, and they just keep on doing things that aren't like that? You'd think that they would keep the good stuff, get rid of the bad stuff, and yet they keep on. They made Windows 8, which everyone kind of hated. Then they made Windows 10, where people were like, I guess it's better because it's kind of closer to Windows 7. And they made Windows 11, which is back to like the Windows 8 problem. Also, was Windows 9 ever a thing? It's like, what the heck even? And then with the forced updates and stuff, sometimes I'll like postpone getting a Windows update for a while when it shows me in the bottom right of my taskbar that I have like an update queued up. And I keep on saying like, nope, no thanks. But then my computer gets laggier and laggier and it reflects in my stream. And eventually when I put my computer into sleep mode for the night after I finish a stream, I get up in the morning and go on my computer and find that it's just rebooted when I never told it that it was allowed to. And with updates that make things worse, like that whole bricking issue there, the whole thing, Bob, where it's like they're cutting off support for Windows 10 here soon, when who genuinely likes Windows 11 more than Windows 10? Like, honest question. Oh, I could have gotten new power-ups here for whatever I wanted, dang it. Or who even likes Windows 11 over Windows 7, honestly? Oh, I didn't have to buy one. Oh, well. But yeah, let's see here. They double down on AI, so most likely this is vibe coded. The OS is vibe coded. Is that the term that we're using for things that are made by AI now? Is they're vibe coded? Bill Gates gets off to robot slave labor. Is that what's going on here? Playing FTL? I don't know what that is. And I have 8 crew members. I have no idea what to do with half of them. They just kind of stand around my ship. They're taking all the benefits while just hanging out there. You do Guzma? What, like Windows 11 more than Windows 7? Windows 7 is pretty good. Windows XP is also really good. Windows XP is pretty good. I just don't care about my operating system, really, Mortis. That sounds like something a Windows 11 lover would say. Windows XP is still so... What the... Parastella Crystallis. Genwel Meteonelfilis. It was a little bit hard to read in that font, I'm gonna be honest. I can't shoot up there, can I? No. Okay, so I guess this is the final boss of Starcross World. So, like... Do that? Pew, pew, pew! Whoa, don't be on any of the shadows, I take it? Whoa, okay, you do a slam down after doing that. Okay, please. Ah! I keep on forgetting that you do a slam down after that. Honestly. Well, this is not a great start for me, huh? What? It's not just a slam down afterwards, but it's a shockwave of crystals after that, too. Okay, well, oh, there's shockwaves for those. Okay. I'm learning. The learning experience here. Dang it. I knew that was coming and I tried to dodge, but I suck, apparently. What? I was dodging that time. Oh yeah, isn't there like a counter attack thing? Like if I attack immediately out of a thing, it's big damage or something or other? I gotta remember how to play this game, man. Yeah, it does that thing. Okay, now I know that there's shockwaves. I'm learning, so as long as I jump, I'm good, I guess. Okay, I was worried that there was going to be shockwaves from that as well or something. Yeah, and then the crystals after. If I time the dodge, then I can get the nice counter there. That's what I can do. Okay. What? I got the slow-mo dodge, but then okay. Pew, 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 pew. And then I get the pew, pew, pew. Yeah, that's where big damage comes from. Is my counter attack. Pew, 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 pew. In the middle of this final boss, we have now started quite the discussion on operating systems. What have I done? What is this? I half expected like a Final Fantasy 16 kind of attack there from like, what's his face? The guy that had Odin with all the crazy slashes and stuff. Is what I kind of half expected there in terms of an attack. Pew, pew, pew. Oh my god. Okay. I gotcha. Pew, 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 pew. Just you wait. What's that? Oh, I guess we've got a shield and I gotta destroy it? Presumably? Uh-oh. I didn't destroy it in time. Don't tell me I die now. Don't tell me it's like one of those video game bosses. Oh, thank goodness it's not one of those video game bosses where it just damage checks you and you die if you don't pass it. I kind of hate it when video games do that. That really screwed me up when I was playing Crisis Core on hard mode. If I get damaged one more time, I'll Maxim Tomato. If I somehow don't die. Wow. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Okay. What? I was trying to dodge. Okay. Please. That'll miss me. Oh, that actually went farther than I thought it would. Okay. Dang you. Okay, what is this? Elden Ring Night Rain? Okay. But yeah, hello, Door Master. Welcome into craziness. Almost ribbon full scissor going for something like that. Absolute craziness. Whoa. Whoops, I'm bad at video games. Pew pew. Get away from those. Here we go. Whoops, I knew there was another one coming and I didn't think to dodge in time. Because I'm bad. Here we go. Pew 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 pew. Those crystals will miss me. Nice. Dang it, stop flying away. Okay, some more of this. An anonymous gifter. Give the Redora Master a tier 1 sub. I greatly appreciate the gifted sub there. An anonymous gifter, Redora Master. Welcome, I presume, back into Team Harmonic. Enjoy a month of the emotes and the sub badge and all that fun stuff there. You've heard my shtick probably a bazillion times, so like whatever at this point. There, look, I did a thing. It's a Kirby game. It's probably gonna be a phase 2. Barnabas, that's what his name was. I'm just now looking at what I missed with the chat. A bunch of operating system stuff. Oh, I was wondering what that figure on the ground was. It was Kirby from behind. With this outfit. Didn't these blue crystals like seal you away? You're telling me you can just absorb that? When I saw those hands coming up, I was about to say suddenly Octopath Traveler, but I rescind that. Whoa. Okay. No, you keep getting out of my range. What is this? What is this? What is this? Whoa, let's not dodge right into that. That would not be good there. What did I hit? Oh, something that's still you, though. Thank goodness. It's a good thing that I remembered that dodges and counters are a thing in this game in time. Whoa. Okay, there's shockwaves. Okay, I didn't quite get it with the slow-mo timing. Okay, just pew pew pew. Pew. Okay. This is the final boss of Star-Crossed World. Whatever the heck it is. I was worried that I screwed myself by potentially jumping into it, but attack the tail, I guess? Yeah, it's a Kirby game. Of course it would be a godlike entity. Whoa, don't dodge into that. That'd be bad. Dang it, I didn't get the timing. Sucks for me. No, not the hands. No, I was trying to get that shot and then dodge in time, but... Oh my god, okay. Just get some pews where I can here. Oh, there's a shockwave. Dang it. No, no, no. Okay, yikes. I should always expect shockwaves at this point. My goodness. Oh my. Expect shockwaves. Expect shockwaves. Just jump. Another slash because you have 2? Yep, figured so. Okay. I have time to do this. Just avoid these. Okay, didn't quite get the counter timing, but that's fine. You look like if somebody made a Pokemon in some sort of Pokemon spin-off like game. You look like you'd be a pal from Pal World is what you look like. This is the impression that I get here. Kind of matches the art style of that game. Just don't tell Nintendo I said that. They'll hate comparisons to a game that's better than what they're making. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's actually kind of cool. So I could go like here, shockwave? I don't know. That's kind of cool with the parts of the building opening up, so you have to go through the opening in the building as he slides it through. That's actually really cool. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Like, I'm sure that they're still winning in the sense that they're draining Pocket Pair of a lot of money and barely denting their own infinite coffers. But in terms of, like, if they'd actually win, per se, things are not exactly looking great for them. Because the courts are like, yeah, this is the kind of bullshit. Rightfully so. Pew pew. I'm gonna do it. It's a good thing I got that extra health thing before going into this. Or else I would not be doing it. Ooh, that gives me the pew pew pew. That gives me the pew 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 too. Which means I win. Unless there's a phase 3, but like... Usually Kirby games are like 2 phases. Initial final boss and then true final boss. That's probably it. Dark matter. Uh-oh. Oh. What? Oh, get away from that in time. Oh, it keeps on slamming that spot repeatedly. Okay. Isn't that? Oh, no, it is. Oh, there's other dudes here now, too. Okay. Well, phase 3 here. But it looks like phase 3 is easier than phase 2. It's not a completely freebie phase, like some games, for, like, the very final finisher. Still a little bit of challenge, but not as much. Just a bit different. Dang it. Pew pew, get out of here, weird crystal bunny. Come on. Dang it, you got all my shockwave area. Whoops. Speaking of shockwaves. Come on. Pew, pew. Come on. Oh, I thought the medium charge would be enough to do it there. Oh. Come on. That didn't do as much damage as breaking the crystal sometimes does. Oh, it does big damage when you're out there. Oh, maybe that's why it didn't do as big of damage. Because it just want me to do this here. Are you just open until I win? Or am I fighting against time here? I'm fighting against time here. Alright, but one more of those. Okay, I thought that might be greedy to save up for a full charge, but I went for it anyway. You. Okay. Come on. And then big pew. There. Now it's it. So I beat it now, right? Kirby. Wake up, Kirby. The Starries, they're unionizing. Look, they're gathering in the sky. I have this strange feeling that Was I wrapped in the embrace of the starry's light in the distant past, too? That might be why I was able to hear their voices. I hope the starries get to travel the universe and explore freely from now on. So is this where credits are gonna roll or something? Because this looks like a screen where that would be what happens here. Yeah, that's Kirby in the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed Worlds. Or world. Why do I keep on thinking that it's plural? It's singular, I'm pretty sure here. Well, yeah, there was literally just the last level left, and that was it. And I needed to collect so many starries for it. So, I mean, talking about just this DLC, additional content, stuff that's bundled in with the Switch 2 version, whatever you want to call it. Upgrade pack, whatever the heck. Overall, I did generally think that it was fun. There wasn't a whole lot of levels, it was just 12 levels, but those levels were well designed, they were good, fun levels. It's not like it felt like any of them were lacking or anything. I had fun going through them. New mouthful modes, was like, hey, you know, that's kind of cool. But it's been so long since I played the original game that if you told me that those mouthful modes were in the original game, I'd believe you. I wouldn't remember one way or the other here, whether they were in. But hey, neat that there was new things there. Let me if there were some new copy abilities as well, but oh well there, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's some of the positives in terms of gameplay. Negatives, it's only 12 levels at the price point that it is. And it really feels like it's not adding a massive ton on there, you know? How much was it? What, in terms of, like, cost? I paid $30 for this. For 12 levels and a boss battle. And it feels very much like they knew that it was short, so because it was short, they were like, ooh, let's extend the playtime a little bit by forcing the player to collect starries to progress here. Which, I don't remember if it was the case with the original game, but after a little bit of Google searching after last time, it seems like there is no requirement of Waddle Dees to progress the game with, like, the base game. For some reason, it's just the DLC here where they're like, you need this many starries before you can play the next level for whatever reason here. So if you don't get enough of them the first time through, you just have to go back and engage with, like, the optional challenges and levels you've already cleared just to beat the game at all. So, you know, I would prefer it just being as short as it is, rather than being like, ooh, it's short, let's artificially lengthen it in an unfun way. Like, I think I always talk about this, I think the worst game aggressor of that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torn of the Golden Country, which has an actual interesting story that you're hooked into, and then at multiple points it's like, ooh, you actually can't keep playing until you do like 80% of the side quests around the world. Like, it's a similar situation to that, where it's like, you want to keep playing, you want to get through it, but then the game's like, nope, this content that seems like it's optional, only optional up to a point. We're going to require you to do so much. So I wasn't really a big fan of the artificial padding there. I do like, of course, how there is optional challenges through the levels. As I mentioned before, if I was playing this as like a kid here after I would have played something like Kirby Superstar Ultra on my Nintendo DS, I would have freaking loved Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I would have loved the Star-Crossed World expansion, upgrade pack, DLC, whatever the hell it is here. I would have gotten a kick out of it, and I probably would have collected all the Waddle Dees and all the Starries were I playing this as a kid. But, you know, nowadays as an adult, if it's like, you know, if I just want to play through this kind of casually and then move on to other things, not saying that this is too long, even with optional stuff that makes you do it along the way. But what if I just don't want to go back and replay levels I've already played? I just want to move on to playing new stuff sometimes, you know? So wasn't exactly the biggest fan of that. But yeah. Yeah, I hate the progression in that game so fucking much. Yeah, I know, right? And it actually has a really good story, really great soundtrack, fantastic gameplay, but the way that it handles progression, big middle finger to Xenoblade 2 Tora, the Golden Country. What the hell were they smoking when it comes to the progression of that game? Like, that is definitely the worst aggressor. So there have definitely been much worse aggressors than this game when it comes to artificially lengthening it. But I'm just not really a fan of any games that artificially lengthen themselves by forcing you to redo stuff and get things that you missed and yada yada. Okay, so you did need Waddle Dees, minimum Waddle Dee. Okay, well, I guess that's a problem with the game in general in that case. Do you really believe that? That people would go on the internet and tell lies? When I was Googling, people were saying that you didn't need Waddle Dees for the main game there. But yeah, like $20 to $25 USD. It's probably like $23-ish USD. What is the conversion right now anyway? I assume that this DLC expansion, whatever the heck, in the US probably costs $20 because that's usually what they do, is they do like $20 in the States and then $30 here in Canada. CAD to USD. What is the conversion rate right now? 30 CAD is... Oh, wow, our dollar's worth even less nowadays. I was hoping that it would be at least like $23 US. Apparently it's $21.72 US. Man, our dollar freaking sucks. I miss the days when it used to be close to 1 to 1. So you guys in the States are getting it a little bit cheaper than me here. Not by a massive ton, but it is definitely cheaper there. Anyway, so my second favorite DLC story, his favorite DLC story was Xenoblade 3, funnily enough. That's more than fair there. But that might also be because Shulk and Rex were in it. Yeah, and Rex is a massive Chad. This game is a better value if you don't own Switch 1, and Switch 1 of Forgotten Land, if you have it $20 USD and new console ain't worth it. Yeah, that's fair there. Like, if you have a Switch 2 and just want to play, like, a good, fun Kirby game, Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I think, is a good, fun game. Like, if you enjoy Kirby games and want to try out this 3D venture, I do think it's a good, fun game and would recommend people to pick it up and try it out. So maybe there's those that get the Switch 2 edition of Kirby in the Forgotten Land and get a lot of bang for their buck over, well, a lot of bang for the buck, because I had it in the back of my mind that it would be like $80 CAD. But what is this? Because it's a Switch 2 edition, hold on. If I go to Nintendo's website, how much do they actually charge for this as like a bundle? Oh, first thing on the page is Hollow Knight Silk Song, the game that all the cool kids are playing now. Kirby and the... How much are they charging for this? Because I just bought it individually here. Let's see here. The Nintendo Switch 2 edition is $115 Canadian. The game broke servers apparently. Silk Song. Oh god. Which is why I'm probably not getting a Switch 2 anytime soon. That's fair there. Yeah, that's a decent bit. That's a decent bit of cost there, isn't it? So, the example that I was talking about, $115 Canadian, so, yeah. But, yeah, that's not worth it. I was about to say it's a lot of bang for your buck, but I had in the back of my mind, like, the old, like, standard full game price. But now that I'm looking at 115, yeah, that's not worth it. And again, as I've talked about in my video essay on Switch 2 prices, I get the whole increased prices with inflation, living in a post-COVID world, the effects of tariffs on like the prices of games across the Americas, because all the games are going through the US to be packaged and then shipped out across the Americas. So of course we're going to be eating the tariff and all that. It's probably like $90 something US. I can go to the US version out of curiosity and see what they're charging there. The Americas US here. Yeah, switch my region to US. Yeah, stay on this here. Kirby and the... Yeah, out of curiosity, how much are they charging for USD? Is it 90? It's 80. Huh. What if we go CAD to USD here? I shouldn't have closed the tab before. 115 is $83.27 USD is the case. So it's a little bit cheaper in the States there as well than it is here. We're continuing to get shafted here in Canada. But the example that I used during the last stream was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, just because that's a game that I bought recently. I haven't played it yet. I have no idea if it's any good. I've heard good things about it, so I don't want to, you know, it seem like I'm being here sucking the dick of that game, because I have no idea what the quality of it is like. But generally, if it's to be trusted, the things I've heard about that game, apparently it's pretty good. And I bought it recently because it was for a good price. Here in Canada, I believe it came out for $89.99, so $90, and on Steam it's listed as, I think, like $93.47 for, I guess, a more direct conversion from whatever it is in USD or something or other. And that was like the standard price for a long time. Is like, standard prices here in Canada have been $80 for a long time. Sony had done the thing where it's like sometimes they're $10 more expensive, and Nintendo started doing the same thing with like Tears of the Kingdom and all that. And I guess Rebirth was one of those games because it was over $90 here. But the game's been out for a little over a year now, so it seems like here in Canada, Sony just recently brought down the price of that, or Sony, or Square Enix, I should say, brought the standard price of that down to $60 Canadian, and it went on sale for 25% off, so it was $45, $44.99. So I picked it up recently for that price, and it's like, oh, that's pretty good there. So, you know, if, again, the Kirby in the Forgotten Land here in Starcross World, you know, it's good. It's good and fun. Like, I won't say that this is a bad game by any means, but when you're just considering, like, bang for your buck in terms of cost value, when I can pick up something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for $45 like I did last week, and, or 2 weeks ago, whatever, time is flying by here, it doesn't matter the timetable, you get the point here. Well, I can pick up something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for $45, like, what the heck, man? And if I got something like Final Fantasy VII Remake for a similar price, then I'm up to $90 for the two games, and it's still decently cheaper than this here. Like, the upgrade pack individually is $30, so that's like 2/3 of what I paid for FF7 Rebirth. Or let's say I bought this expansion here for $30, and I bought the Nintendo Switch 2 expansion of Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV here, which is like the biggest waste of $30 ever. You could get these two expansions of barely friggin' anything and 12 levels and a new boss battle for a more expensive price than buying something like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And if you really want to talk about bang for your buck, just look at the indie genre. Indie games have been blowing up for the past decade and a half because there's this bubble with like the AAA gaming space with like the prices associated with it. Whereas indie games are, of course, going to be a whole lot cheaper. And you see a lot more innovation in the indie space because indie makers are willing to actually try out new things. And these multi-million-dollar companies that have a lot of investment banking on these games always want to take the safest option rather than take risks with something new. So you typically see a lot more innovation in the indie space than you do in AAA nowadays, I would argue, for that reason, which, you know, makes sense, but it would be cool to see more different things in AAA there. So if we're talking about, like, indie, go pick up a game like friggin' Dark Deity 2 as an indie game that I played recently. A series that's inspired by Fire Emblem here. I actually really quite enjoyed Dark Deity 2, and it had a lot of things that I wish mainline Fire Emblem was doing that I thought was really quite awesome. Or here's another indie game that just came out, what, like today, yesterday, a Hollow Knight Silksong that people have been hyped for like ever, because apparently Hollow Knight is like such an amazing Metroidvania game. And apparently it's like $20 USD from what I've heard around online. So I'm sure that Hollow Knight Silksong here is like $30 or something like that for comparison. So if I was presented with the option of buying something like Kirby Starcross Worlds and getting a whole 12 levels and one boss, and I guess like the new arena there, versus getting something like Hollow Knight Silksong, what's really more worth the cost? So overall, in terms of this DLC, like, yeah, it's good. It's not like I disliked any part of it per se. Like, it was good content, but it's a very small amount of content for a premium price. It's $30, the same as Nintendo charges for like their other like full expansions. So I could get something like the additional expansion of Breath of the Wild for that price. I could get something like Future Redeemed for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I could get, what are some other expansions? I could get the DLC for Fire Emblem Engage that is equal parts interesting and bullshit. So many things like that. What else had a friggin' expansion here that I played semi-recently? I don't have come to mind here. I don't know. I would say that, but like, no. Other things that have expansions, you can buy expansions for, because that's just like their standard expansion price. Yeah, get Splatoon 3 Side Order. I don't know if that's the best example, considering that gets really tiring fast, and I feel like that is another kind of semi ripoff. Like Side Order, I feel like was another case of like, hey, this is good and fun, but is it really worth the price? Like, is it really worth the bang for the buck? So it's kind of like Star-Crossed World in that sense, where it's like, hey, what's here is good, but like, is it really worth it for what you're paying for here? Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion better than Splatoon 3 Side Order. Agreed. Heard Octo Expansion was worth more. It is. It definitely is. So yeah, a Side Order worth the price? I don't think so, but I'm not really a big Splatoon player. So there's that. If you want a good indie game like Creature Collectors, Cassette Beast is good. That's what I've heard. I've heard good things about that there. This egregious price is definitely mandated by Nintendo, just like Switch 1 gimmick of release incomplete game with free update to make players stay. That's not necessarily a Switch 1 specific thing. That's just kind of the way that a lot of AAA gaming is nowadays, unfortunately. So yeah, Star Allies was a victim of that. Sounds familiar there, but I don't think I picked up Star Allies after it, like the day after it released. I did my playthrough start to finish that day. That was the first ever full playthrough I did on this channel ever, was Kirby Star Allies. I had someone that dipped into my stream and was like pushing my buttons, and I was just kind of, one, happy to have anybody watching my stream at all. Two, apparently they were a friend of a friend that was tuning and watching the stream, so I didn't want to ban them because apparently they were a friend of a friend, but giving me countless crap along the way, and I got really frustrated, and then I didn't really play. I don't think I played Kirby Star Allies after that. Maybe I did very briefly once to showcase the side modes. I have no idea what the hell was added to Star Allies after the fact, because I kind of lost any motivation there. Side Order is fun, but it's a lot of replaying the same stuff over and over to get the most of it. Yeah, that's kind of the way it is. So overall, like, hey, you know, the levels are good. This was fun. If you have the opportunity to play it and don't care about costs, sure, give it a go. If you enjoyed Kirby in the Forgotten Land, you'll probably enjoy this too. But is it really worth the price? And it really doesn't reinvent the wheel with the Forgotten Land, where it's like, you're getting kind of what you expect here. And yeah, having played the Forgotten Land several years ago, it's like, okay, I gotta relearn the controls. Okay, I'm getting into the swing of it again. This just feels like a handful more levels of the Forgotten Land. Was this really worth that one? Like, I think if I wasn't a content creator, I wouldn't have picked this up. And I just don't think that's all that cost effective. And again, as someone that actually did genuinely like Kirby in the Forgotten Land, I just don't think that it's quite worth the price there. Like, I'm fine with just having played through Kirby in the Forgotten Land. I didn't really need the extra little tidbit here. Like, I was good moving on and playing other games here. Splatoon 3 Side Order would feel like a better value buy if you sucked at the game and had to play it over several times to win in roguelike fashion. Me, as someone who beat it on my third attempt, nah, it doesn't feel like it's entirely worth it. That's fair. I have a single knot in my hair that I can feel right here. I have over 250 hours in Cassette Beast, so yeah, it's good. Nice. I know everyone's gonna have, like, different tastes, though. And all that. There. Knot is gone. That's a big knot. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is a decent bit of replay value, what with, like, the optional objectives along the way. Like, assuming that we're still talking about Star-Crossed World here. So, like I was saying before, if I was a kid playing this, I totally would go around and collect all the starries. That is absolutely something that I would be very much into. But even then, it's only 12 levels and a boss. Yeah, and that's what I've heard there with Final Fantasy games. Star Allies has their version of Star-Crossed World named Heroes in Another Dimension, and it's free. Oh, well, I never played that, I don't think. So, yeah, that's kind of what I feel about Kirby and the Forgotten Land Star-Crossed World. So, yeah. Is it good? Sure. Is it worth the cost of entry? Probably only if you're a really big fan of Kirby and the Forgotten Land and really just, alright, scratching your neck to sink your teeth into some more content. Otherwise, if you just played it through casually and enjoyed it like I did, it's not that important there, man. Yeah, with like a bazillion mini games there, I look forward to playing that. And I'll always have the cost comparison in the back of my mind. The fact that I bought that just recently for $45 when I'm spending $30 for this, or like the biggest ripoff ever of Jamboree TV here that is like the biggest nothing burger, I will not be able to get that cost comparison out of my head. So, again, like, I get the increase in prices, but I'm not here to sympathize with the companies that are making money here. Like, I do like coming up with explanations for, like, hey, this is the reason why prices are going up in this fashion, like I did in that video essay. But that doesn't mean I need to take these companies' sides. I need to think about myself as a consumer and where is the best place for me to be putting my money. And I don't think that this is the best place for me to be putting my money. There are much better things for the same value that you can get elsewhere. So that's kind of what I feel. I guess go play Hollow Knight Silksong. I've never played Hollow Knight or followed anything with Silksong, so I don't know the first thing about it. I've just heard good things about it. But you want a good thing to play for low cost, for the same cost as this, chances are Hollow Knight Silksong is probably pretty good. Buy that game instead of buying this. It's better use for your money, I would think. So yeah, I guess that's my review. I guess maybe I'll have a brief look at doing the arena.